Hello, my name is Belinda Weaver. I am a copywriter and my business is Copyright Matters. Now, in today's copywriting tutorial, I want to talk about one of my favorite copywriting formulas, PAS or P-A-S, Pain, Agitate, Solve, or Problem, Agitate, Solution. You can rearrange any of those words with those letters. The point is, it's awesome because it works. Now, to take a step back, I want to quickly talk about copywriting formulas, because when you use a copywriting formula or you're reading a copywriting formula, it can feel a little bit like cheating. I mean, you're a copywriter, you should be coming up with all this stuff fresh, right? Well, no, because you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time you need to write a piece of copy. Copywriting formulas have stood the test of time because they work, and they work because people ultimately haven't changed. Now, when we're talking about this formula, I like it because it helps you, or you focus on a big ticket pain point of your audience. And when you do that, you're basically telling your audience that you understand them. Oh, and empathy, really, really powerful. So let's step through the pain, agitate, solve formula very quickly so you know what I'm talking about, because I then want to show you a very, very simple technique to make it even better. So, pain or problem is the first step. You want to lay out the problem or talk about the big pain point your reader faces. Now, it's very tempting to kind of talk about multiple problems and multiple pain points, but when you do that, you're just kind of confusing your reader. So pick one, pick the most painful, biggest problem, and you kind of want to lay it out. This is the heart of your opening. And then remember that your headline gets the first line of your copy read, and the first sentence gets the next sentence read, and the first paragraph gets the rest of the page read. You really want to make the opening of your copywriting really count. And when you connect to the problem that your reader faces, you tell them, as I said, that you understand them, that you get them. You're tapping in to what's going on in their lives. Now, the next step is you want to kind of agitate it a bit. You've mentioned the pain, you're talking about the problem, you really want to dig into it. And the more specific you can be to niche down into your reader and the problems that they're facing, the more relevant and the more effective that agitation is. Now, you don't want to do it too much. You don't want your reader to wallow in the pain of their life. So you've talked about the pain, you've agitated it, then you want to be the savior. You want to give them a solution. You want to solve that problem. And that is when you can dig into the details of the solution that you're writing about. Basically, with this combination of letters, pain, agitate, solve, you want your reader to work through your copy saying, yes, 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 this is exactly what's going on in my life and I am bloody sick of it. Thank goodness there's a solution here. So the reason I love this is because, as I've said, tapping into someone's pain is a really effective way to understand them, but it also works for all kinds of marketing. It's fantastic for landing pages. It's brilliant in brochures. Oh, alliteration there. But it works on websites, it works in ads, it works on flyers, it works for pretty much all types of copywriting. And that is why it is my go-to formula when it comes to copywriting. The other thing is that when you're forced to think about someone's pain, you're forced to know your reader really quite well. You're forced to think about the emotions that are driving their decision making. So you'll come up with a lot of good stuff as you brainstorm what you need for this formula. But I mentioned, how can you make it even better? Well, you just add one letter. Well, it's one letter to the acronym. It's not one letter in your copy, because results matter. So turn PAS into PASO and add an outcome. Now, the reason you can do this is you've given them solution, but you want to help paint a picture of what their life will be like with the solution in play, because every purchase is about transformation. It's about some kind of transformation. We buy things, we make decisions, we take action because we are seeking even a small one, some kind of transformation in our lives. And when you add an outcome to the solution, you are helping your reader put themselves into the afterglow of the purchase, the afterglow of the work. And that can be incredibly effective. Now, I wrote a blog on this, on my blog, The Copy Detective, which I will include a link to. And it has some examples, but I can read one out here for you right now so you can see what I'm talking about. So this is an imaginary holiday booking website, yeah? The problem, finding the perfect hotel can be stressful, almost too stressful to bother. That's the problem. Now we agitate it. Hunting down all your options, working out how far away the local hotspots are from your hotel, reading reviews from other guests. Then, of course, there is the price. And all within your lunch hour? Impossible. Now we want to add a solution. Not impossible. AwesomeHotels.com makes finding the best hotel deals quick and easy. We compare hundreds of travel sites for you so you can get the best hotel deal available. All faster than you can say ham, cheese and pickle on rye. So that's the solution. Now, you then probably go into a lot of the features of the specific solution if you were writing a website or a landing page, but then we add the outcome. So we've outlined the problem. Finding holiday hotels is stressful. We've agitated it by outlining and really picking apart why it's a terrible process to do. We've offered a solution, awesomehotels.com. Now we want to add an outcome. In just a few clicks, you'll have your ideal accommodation sorted at the best price, leaving you free to daydream about how to treat yourself with all the money you just saved. So we've said in just a few clicks, you'll have your ideal accommodation. Great, that is an outcome, but take it a step further and tell them what they can do because of that. Now, this links back to something I've talked about once or twice here before. Saving time, saving money as a benefit is all very well and good, but it's what you do with the time, it's what you do with the money that is the real benefit. Daydreaming about how to treat yourself with the money you save, that is something I'm interested in. Then, of course, you add testimonials as proof. So it actually becomes pain, agitate, solve, outcome, proof. 2 letters, even better. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about. You know, there is more that goes on in copywriting. You have calls to action, you have offers, you have guarantees, you want to build trust. All that kind of stuff goes on as well. But a copywriting formula like PASO gives you a framework to help you get started. That is the point of a copywriting formula. It's not a fill in the blanks and you're done scenario. It gives you a framework that helps you get started and helps you organize your ideas in the most persuasive way. So that's what I wanted to talk about. Head to the blog, The Copy Detective. The Copy Detective, and you can read more. As I said, I'll include a link, and check here for more copywriting tutorials.